Tamela. Let's laugh and spread love. Tea with Tamela. You're more than enough. Tea with Tamela. Don't ever give up. Tea with Tamela. Come and fill your cup. Tea with Tamela.
Hey, friends. Welcome to the Tea with Tamela podcast, where we sit down over a warm cup of tea and discuss faith, family, food, football, and everyday moments in between. If you're new here, thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Tamela, and I pray that each episode leaves you encouraged, motivated, inspired, and challenged to grow. Now, today we have a very, very special episode where we have a guest who's a thought leader, a speaker, an advocate who's dedicated her life to empowering women and helping them not just survive, but thrive. So, y'all welcome with me my good friend, Tommi Vincent, who runs a lifestyle brand that celebrates the strength of family and values faith, family, and food. So, y'all know she already speaking my language. That's what we do. She's also the immediate past chairwoman of the National Domestic Violence Hotline Board, where she's helped expand life saving resources for survivors across the country. Her work has been featured in New York Times to CBS, and she continues to have a voice that is challenging, uplifting, and inspires so many individuals. Now, today we are also going to talk about her new book that she just released. What, a week ago? Was it a week ago?
Yes, yes.
A
Mhm.
week ago. And the book is called The Table of Life. Table of Life. Y'all get that? The Table of Life. And this is adding something else to all the achievements that you have just mastered over the years. Now, y'all, this book, so good. I have now read it twice. I have now read it twice. So, okay, we're gonna get into that. But y'all just welcome Tommy. Can we get some claps? We don't have an audience, but we want to get some claps for Tommy here. Okay, so the book is out.
Yes, it is. Wait, but let's give it up for Tamla first because
Let's
I'm
see.
so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I really am. Okay, now we can go.
Thank you for being proud of me. Listen, I need that from time to time. Okay, so the book is out, and I just want you to tell us, like what can people find in this book? What inspired you to write this? And then was there, like a specific moment where you were like, okay, it's time to sit. It's time to write about this table of life that I've just experienced over the years.
So the table of life, it presents an opportunity for the readers to learn how to build their own table, one dish at a time, using all of the ingredients from their life. And I wouldn't say there was a specific time where I was like, okay, let me sit down and do this. There was a series of moments where I knew I wanted to write a book.
Mm,
And it took some time getting me to the place where I was confident in my ability to write, to present something to the world. And once I got over the hurdle of, I can do this, I can write a book,
mhm.
it's, I think sometimes in our mind, we take titles and we don't see ourselves in those titles, like as a writer,
Okay.
and not seeing yourself as a writer. So, me not seeing myself as a writer made me believe I could not write a book.
Mm,
And once I got past that, recognizing that my writing style is more than enough for the message and the words that are inside of me, to be able to put them on paper and present them to the world,
mhm,
because I believed that they would bless someone else. And
mm.
so once I got past that, it wasn't like a specific time. I just knew it was like, I knew it was time.
You knew it was time.
Mhm.
I think that's so big because a lot of times we're comparing what God has given us to share with the world to like somebody else's voice, somebody else's story, somebody else's writing style. And what I love about what you've done with your book is there's so much of your story, your heart there. But then we get recipes that you share around the tables that you serve, you host, entertain. And so, what made you decide to add not just the recipes of life, but then recipes that people could have at their own dinner tables?
The recipes really are an illustration of what took me through my healing journey because I cooked my way through healing. So in the book, The Table of Life, I talk about my bout of depression.
Hmm.
And in the process of therapy, I identified this thing that was inside of me that was there all along. However, I didn't recognize it and see it for what it was. I just thought it was a thing that the Hendricks family did. We all are phenomenal cooks. We could throw down in the kitchen. And so I never really thought of it more than that. This is just something I do. But in the process of therapy and having visions of my grandmother in her kitchen cooking, what I recognized that it wasn't just something I did, it was a gift, it was an anointing from God. And so in the book, I include recipes because it was such a big part of my process for healing that I wanted to share what I call my weapon of warfare with other people.
Mm.
So it's the process of cooking. And then it's also the feeling that when you sit down to food that's prepared with love, what that does for one's soul. And so to me, the gift cooking is a gift that keeps on giving, and so I included it so that I could take that gift from my table and present it to the reader and present it to their table.
That's so good and so deep to be able to just really process all of that. Like, this is what we've done as a family. This is how we've survived certain things, overcome certain things. These recipes that were shared to be able to go back and reflect on your grandmother in the kitchen. I guess my question is, how did you decide which recipes of life that you were going to include in the book with sharing different, like, detailed moments of your life, but then also how to pair that with the recipes that you were gonna share for people to really put on their tables as well?
It's interesting because I can take any recipe and connect it to a lesson.
Mm.
So when I was putting the book together, I actually had done these recipes before when I had did a shoot for my podcast, Stay a While. And so I took those same recipes and I included them in my book because I felt like I've been on this journey and I've taken pieces of my life and I put it on a table for like a season. So when I've launched my podcast, I had those recipes on the table.
Mm.
Then when it came time to do the book, I said, I already have this. You know, sometimes I think we go looking for other things, like we have to find something new. But when you've been putting in the work and you've established something that is not just good, is very good, why wouldn't we reuse it? And so I
Mhm.
took those recipes and I put them in the book. And the ability to connect a lesson to the recipe for me wasn't it's something that I do. And so we could have been talking about our tea that we have here right in this on this set, and I can create a recipe using that. How we
Mhm.
need to steep in life. We need to sit in things sometimes in order for the goodness of us to come out. We
Ooh,
got to go into the fire. We got to go into the heat to draw out the best of us. I can do that with any recipe because hey, that's just what I do.
that's just listen, I'm like, "Ooh, all right, let me let my tea steep a little bit." Draw everything out. But that's a talent. Like, I mean, and that's something that God has uniquely placed inside of you because everybody can't do that. But then you could take something just in a moment like that and teach a lesson
Mhm.
on life. And then people are like, oh, okay, I want to making my tea. I need to do this, I need to do that. So I mean, that's something that's so beautiful, so, so beautiful about you. When you as you wrote the book, and I don't know how long this process took,
2 years, girl, 2
2
years.
2 years. 2
Mhm.
years of you sitting with you, just kind of, like, did you write something, delete something, like, just kinda going back and forth. What were, like, some of the lessons that you felt like that you learned? How did this just really grow you as you were preparing this table of life for other people? Because you're sharing your story, you're going back through previous lived experiences,
Mhm.
but then I'm sure also there was some pruning and some things that maybe you didn't expect to take place inside of you as you was preparing this for somebody else.
The writing process for me, it was a whole journey. So that 2 years, it wasn't just me going in and sitting down and writing and getting it on paper and determining the stories. It was a process even with the people that I work with to put the book together. So I had a couple of writing coaches, and I had to identify the right fit for me.
Mhm.
For me, a writing coach was necessary because I needed someone to hold me accountable to writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have a full life and you have a lot of stuff going on, you have to be able to put in place what's necessary for you to be successful in the things that matter to you. Or else you'll constantly be drifting over and around to all these different things you have going on. For me, this book was a priority. And so I'm a really good student. And so I knew if I had a coach to say, okay, when we check in next time, I want chapter 1 through 3 written.
Okay.
Um, so I had a coach that would get me through that, but I also had to work through what works for me. Because when you work with people in an industry where this is their thing that they do, they come with a prescriptive formula on how things should be done.
Mhm.
That may not work for you. And getting to the place where you are courageous enough to buck against a system that's already in place, like this is, you need to have an outline when you write a book, and then you take the outline and then you build out your chapters from the outline. That was really crippling me in the process of writing. And so I needed to be able to advocate for myself with my coach to say, this does not work for me.
Mm.
And so it was a process of learning, it was a process of self advocating, it was a process of being comfortable with myself so that I could successfully get through the finish line of completing the book. And so one of the things I would share is you got to know yourself so well that anything you're doing, even when people present you a formula that is tried and true and is successful, will it be successful for you? And if it will not, you have to be able to adjust the math so that you still get the correct answer and get success, but you've identified a way for you to find success in it, right? Because I can do 2 minus 2 and I'm going to get 0. That's the formula that's being presented to you. But
Mhm.
I also can do 3 minus 3 equals 0 and still get the same answer.
So how do people get to know themselves that well that they can like advocate for themselves even when there's like a formula that's tried and true for someone else and you're working with somebody and they're like, let's just do it this way. Just do it this way. But I feel like a lot of times we don't know ourselves. So how do we get to know ourselves enough to again advocate for ourselves, know what formulas work, and then to not be afraid to stand up and share that with someone who may be an expert in some other space. They're not expert at you. So how do you become an expert of you?
I love that question and that framing because no one can ever beat you at being you.
Mm,
And in the book, I talk about the very first chapter, Life is Hard, and I start to disclose my bout of depression. For me, what it took was for me being not being able to get out of my bed. And I don't believe that we should have to get to the place where we are down and out, where we become dysfunctional, and when all the lights go out for us to get to the place where we all of a sudden find it a priority to understand who we are. That was my process. I had to have an experience that where I talk about the lights went out, at least that's what I thought in that moment, in order for me to get to the place where I finally took some time to know Tommy. I believe that if we are more intentional about sharing our stories and being engaged with other people so that we can glean from other people's life experiences, that we have an opportunity to get to know ourselves while we're still well. Like, why does it take for
mm,
us to become unwell and unhealthy for us to know
Right.
I shouldn't eat that or I shouldn't do
Right.
that or my plate is too full, and if I consume all of this, and when I'm talking about the plate, I'm talking about the plate representing like all the things in life that we put on our plate.
Yeah.
Why does it take for us getting to the place where we eat ourselves sick before we decide we need to make an adjustment? My hope is that people will get to the place where they recognize, no, you can choose today to take off your plate right now what will cause you to impede you from becoming everything that you've been created to be, and will prevent you from knowing what you like and what you don't like, what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think we all do a good job of that from time to time. And I think sometimes it's the voices of other people that kind of keeps us from that. How do we really deal with that? Like when other people's voices become louder than our own voice. Like how do we silence the noise to say, you know what? Your voice is becoming louder than my own story. And that's keeping me from really shedding the things that I need to shed. It's keeping me from being on the road or the assignment that I'm called to be on. Like how do we silence the voice of other people? Do we just shut up? Just shut up talking. Do we tell that? Stop it.
There's always going to be noise.
Yeah.
There's always going to be noise, but what are you listening to?
Mm,
If you don't know yourself, then you cannot recognize your voice. So it could be other people talking, but who are you listening to? When you get to know who you are, your voice volume turns up. It's not that your voice isn't present, it's just that it's so low that you can't hear yourself. And so by turning up the volume on you, even when other people are talking, you can hear yourself. And then getting to the place where you're disciplined that your voice matters to you.
yeah.
It's not about it mattering to other people. Does your voice even matter to you? If you know that this is not good for you, if you know that you really want to say no instead of saying yes, are you willing to care for yourself enough to say and do what matters to you? That is the key. Allowing your voice, the level to rise to a volume where your voice has the ability to mute the voices of other people or turn down the volume of the voices of other people. Some people, yeah, we want to say, shut your mouth. Other people, it's not that we want them to be muted.
Mhm.
We just want to make sure that we can hear ourselves first. And that will be the filtration process before we tune into the voices of other people.
Girl, that's a whole sermon. You do you do sermons too? You got a church? I need a collection plate. Hand around. I can pay my tithe and offering to Tommy V now. 'Cause that's so rich and it's so powerful. So we have some copies of your book here. Um, do you mind reading just a part of the book that's special to you? Um, that's able to it's all able to impact someone, but one that just stands out where you say, I want the readers to listen to this. I want them to go purchase this book. We want y'all to go purchase the book and get all of this amazing, amazing content. But can you just read us a little bit? One of a one of the special pieces in the book for you that
I would
stands
love
out?
to. I
Yeah.
would love to. And I want to say to you, Tamala, that, you have been a champion for me.
Mm,
You have supported the launch of the book. You have been a door opener for me. Even having me on your podcast is a way where you are loving me out loud. And I just want to tell you thank you. I do not take this kind of stuff for granted because, anytime you're doing something that is meaningful for you, when other people express how much it means to them, or even so much how much I mean to you by opening the doors for me, it is words pale in
mm.
expressing my gratitude. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Now you you know I got 1 week out. Now you gonna make the other one weak. Um, Thank you for sharing that. Oh,
Absolutely. So
that
this is actually chapter 1, Life is Hard, and this is actually the chapter when I'm doing my table of life dinners that I give the guest to
mhm.
read as their reading assignment. So when we come together, we have some substance to talk about. So this comes from that chapter, and it reads: Acknowledging that life is hard helps you prepare and adjust for the journey ahead. It sets your expectations in a reasonable way, which allows you to change your behavior. But back in the laundry room, I didn't know that. I glazed over this truth and I worked to manage the hard instead of making changes to mitigate the difficult things in my life. I found myself in a mental crisis, unable to process a way out without the intervention of professional help. How many times do we succumb to defeat before we acknowledge the truth of our situation? I'm not minimizing how difficult it is to be honest with ourselves. It took the lights going out in my soul before I could see myself. I could see the needs of my husband and children clearly. In one of the darkest moments of my life, I could see the need to provide clean socks and underwear for the twins, but I couldn't see my way out from under the covers I pulled over my head for the majority of my day. Honesty requires looking at ourselves, facing the person in the mirror. I shuddered to think about that. This isn't easy, especially if you don't have high regard for yourself. We conquer ourselves in our minds before life even has a chance to grind us down.
So I'm gonna repeat that last because it's powerful. We conquer ourselves in our minds before life even has a chance. Right. So what is it that you think happens inside of us mentally that we do that before life even gets a chance? It's like we become our own poison sometimes to so many.
I believe it's a culmination of things. Like I talked about in the beginning, even with writing the book, I was telling myself I couldn't before I even tried. And so, because my self talk was defeating, I didn't give an opportunity for life to even happen to me for me in that moment.
Mhm.
And then there's some times where we carry the words, and there's a chapter in the book, it's titled The Wait is Over, where we carry the words that other people have spoken over us, and they become weights that weigh us down. And they prevent us from soaring because we believe those words and we don't spend time getting to nullify those words by
Mhm.
exposing the truth about who we are and how God created us to be. And so we have to identify of what is the source that is preventing us from being able to live out life before life has an opportunity to grind us down. What is that? And for me, it was going to therapy.
Mhm.
I had a very strong relationship with Jesus Christ before I had my bout of depression. I had a very strong relationship with Jesus Christ while I was experiencing my bout of depression. That did not change. Just because encountered darkness did not mean that somehow the light of Christ was not in me.
Right, right.
What that meant was that there was some excavating that needed to be done, that there was some processing and some work that needed to be done so that my light could shine brighter,
Mhm.
so I could see the path that was before me and I could find my way and continue to walk strong in my relationship with the Lord. And therapy did that with me. I am a Jesus and therapy kind of girl.
Jesus and therapy. I'm just
He
Jesus
created them too.
and therapy.
The creator of all things created therapists too.
Yes, and I feel like so many believers have this idea, for whatever reason or not, that it has to be Jesus, and we can't have Jesus and therapy. Like, "Oh, Jesus paid it all and lay it at his feet," and what can you say to the believer who feel like if they do choose therapy, that means they're not choosing Jesus? Because that's not true, and if for some reason inside of our community, sometimes people start to believe that they have to choose one or the other. So, how do you encourage people to say, "Listen, you can choose Jesus. I chose him. He was a part of my whole journey, but I also had to choose therapy to partner because God gifted those people with talents and abilities to be able to help me navigate certain things." So, how can you encourage somebody? Like, it's okay to have Jesus and therapy, and therapy.
When I was going through my bout of depression, I tried everything. And I cried out to the Lord and I said, Lord, I need a lifeline.
Mhm.
Within a week, I found my therapist at a women's conference filled with believers who was speaking at that event. I'm saying that because my prayer, so my faith, plus my work of getting to this conference activated the results I needed. We address everything in life. There's a need and a requirement for maintenance.
Mhm.
It could be your car, it could be you going to the gym to work out, it could be you going to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned and them cavities filled, whatever it is you're doing. But when it comes to doing work where we're saying, no, this literally is work where I'm proactively ensuring that my mind is well.
Yes.
Your mind is part of your flesh. It's a part of your body. God creates therapists. Just like I'm anointed to cook and to bring people to gather around the table and provide healing for their soul and also comfort for their bellies.
Mhm.
He created therapists to be anointed in the same way. So, the same approach that we take in identifying the professionals we need for other areas in our life, we can pray about, Lord, send me a therapist. These are my desires. These are the
Mhm.
things I want. We can go to a therapist. They may not fit. That doesn't mean we stop pursuing the right therapist.
Right,
You don't
right.
stop pursuing the right man. You don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
You
do.
give them a couple opportunities and
And if he
circle
ain't the
back,
fit, if he ain't the right fit
we go
or
for
she
somebody
not the
else.
right fit, you identify somebody else.
Uh-huh.
The same with therapy.
Yes.
You might get one that don't work, but don't let that stop you from getting what you need
Yep.
to make sure that your mind is well.
Mhm.
We deserve to have well minds, to have healthy mental health
Mhm.
so that we are able to thrive in life. Surviving is not the place of abundance that God would desire for
It
us
is
to
not.
dwell. We should be healthy in all aspects in our life, and that includes our mental health.
Yes, that includes our mental health too, and I think sometimes when we are like mom, we're successful, everybody's singing our praise about this, that, and the other. It becomes hard for us to know thyself enough to know that we may need help. So, what would you say to someone who's in some of those roles where it's like, I can identify everything else about everybody else? I know, oh, something ain't right with little Johnny. I know Ray stayed in the bed too long this morning, but we can't identify and define those things inside of ourselves to then go and seek help. So what would you tell a person who, a woman specifically, like, this is how you get to the root of you to be able to, one, admit, like, wait, something is off. And I got Jesus, but I also need some help before they even, because I think it's hard for people to identify.
Mhm. It's all about loving yourself. And I know like self love, self care, all of those terms have saturated social media
Mm-hmm.
to a degree where it could be a bit watered down.
Yep.
And the substance of what they really mean have lost their essence. But the Bible says that love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Mm.
So I submit to you that there's a capacity of love that we have
Mm-hmm.
based off of how far we're willing to love ourselves. So we believe that we are loving by doing.
Yep.
We believe that because we do all the things for our spouses, for our children, and everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
that is signifying how much we love them.
Mm.
No, that's just us being busy.
Ooh.
We can love in other ways. Our ability to love, when you love someone, they feel it in their soul.
Yeah.
They feel it on the inside. Anyone can come along and do things for people. That is nothing unique. That is not a unique qualifier. But your love, there's only one type of Tommy love. There's only one type of Tamela love. And in order for us to really unearth that, we got to get to the place where we love ourselves. When I thought the lights were going out for me, when the bout of depression hit me, as I got through the journey and got on the other side of it, what I realized was no, the light was not turning off, the light was turning on. And I now could see Tommy.
Mm.
When you can see yourself, it allows for you to see all of it and recognize that it is good. I don't have to hide and tuck away any aspect of my life in order to receive approval and validation from other people.
Right. Right.
It's about me and loving all of the things I've experienced and loving myself enough to say, girl, you did a great job. Little Tommy did an excellent job of surviving so that adult Tommy could thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get to this place where we are willing to do whatever is necessary to love ourselves well so that we can in turn love the people that we care about in a way that exceeds anything that we can ever do for them. I think that that's where we need to get to as people who profess love, not
Mm-hmm.
only for other people, but for ourselves.
Wow. Love thyself. Because sometimes we do a better job at loving our neighbors than we do loving ourselves. And I remember a season in life where I would quote the scripture, consider others more important than you. I just keep, but I use that as an excuse to confirm that it was okay to self neglect. And it's like, it should never be a thing for me.
But because the question becomes who takes care of the caregiver? If you're caring for everyone else
Mm-hmm.
and you're not caring for yourself, where does that leave you? How your quality of life becomes extremely compromised. And so while you feel like you're doing a wonderful thing by caring for everyone else, if you're not caring for yourself, at some point in time, you're going to give out. Then nobody's going to be cared for. But when we develop healthy relationships, we develop relationships where we care for one another. And that in all those relationships, the people that love and care about us, they could look at us and they could say, you know what? It's too much.
Yep.
And they can make adjustments. They can care for us like we care for them. It's the reciprocation that fuels our ability to care for one another.
Powerful again. And this is why everybody needs the table of life. Listen, I'm gonna be handing them out like trick or treat candy. Like table of life. We all need it because there's so much in all that you've just shared. And so we're getting a glimpse of what you've poured out here. And I remember the first time I read it, I was like, okay, read it. But then the second time it's like circle, highlight, point to self.
We know what kind of student you was.
Super student. Super student. Listen, I need to be back in somebody's school. I need to be back in somebody's school. But like, as we close out about just the book in general, like, what do you want these why? I don't know. Why they need tell me why they need to go get this book. How like, when you wrote it, you're like, "People need this book because 'cause you're putting something out there that you feel like people need, and although, it does something for you to be able to, go through it and get it all written, but why do people need to go and purchase not just one, but enough to hand out like trick or treat candy?
I believe that people should get a table of life book for themselves,
Mhm,
so that they can see themselves in the pages. And
mhm,
why I think that is so important is as I'm sharing my story, there's a lot in there where one, like I did for a long time, I was ashamed of aspects of my journey.
mhm.
But when I get to the end of the book, I quickly realized the things that were my disqualifiers were actually, that I believe were my disqualifiers, were my qualifiers. And I believe that if people can get to that place in life where they view their life is happening, um, life is not happening to them, it's happening for them,
Mm,
then they'll embrace all of the
yeah,
ingredients of their life and they'll recognize, no, I need all of that
yep.
to create the dishes that grace my table. So now that I've gotten to the place where I'm getting the nourishment I need, I'm now in a position to pull up other seats to nourish other people. But first, you got to eat.
Yeah, you gotta eat first.
It's important.
It's important. It is important. Alright. People need to go get the table of life so you can eat, and then you can cook, and you can eat some more, and then you can serve. So this is just a portion of, like, the many, many, many things that you've done, but you also have an amazing your faith. We've heard glimpses of it, but we know that that's powerful. And then you do food. So can you share with us how faith, family, and food became the core of like the work that you do? And it's just so much of just who you are, who God created you to be, and how you execute life on a day.
So, and Tamla, you can relate to this because of your marriage to Demario and being in the world of the National Football League. You know, my husband Troy played 15 years, and he is also an NFL executive. And so there was a point in life where I was really working to find myself.
Mhm.
I had gone through therapy. So at this point, this is therapy over. And I'm sitting at my desk and I have a vision. It's like I'm sitting there and then this movie starts playing in my mind and God shows me a vision. And I say, with tears streaming down my eyes, how? When nobody even knows my name. And God said to me, the one who is making moves on your behalf knows who you are.
Mm.
And in that moment, I received Vincent Country. The three pillars of faith, family, and food became so clear to me. And God said, that is your body of work. So all those years of really investing and cultivating my amazing husband and wonderful children,
Mhm.
and ushering them into success,
Mhm.
supporting them in whatever capacity was necessary so that they could do everything at the highest level possible within themselves. That was my body of work. And what were the three pieces of that was the foundation of it all, it was our faith.
Mhm.
My family meant everything to me, and I was able to do a lot of this around the dinner table, which was the faith, was the food piece.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so those are those three pillars that I stand on, and in everything I do, you can count on all three of those things showing up.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think sometimes it becomes easy to lose one over the other or reprioritize or overly prioritize and not have like the proper balance. And so, with life being so busy, one with the line of work, and then the role, responsibility, obligations that come with that, and then having not one, not two, like every time you add a little person to it, that's adding to, I call it the beautiful organized chaos.
Mhm.
So how have you just kind of like been able to keep your faith at the center of it all? At the center of laboring alongside your husband, at the center of motherhood, at the center of being able to really deal with some of the things that were placed on you throughout life. Like your faith hasn't wavered and you're stuck there with Jesus and you're pursuing him and you're like, "Hey, things may get hard, things may get heavy, but my faith is holding this all together." Like, how are you able to do that? And then how can you encourage other people to not compromise their faith regardless of how heavy, how beautiful life
Mhm.
gets?
My relationship with the Lord is my everything.
Mhm.
And my husband Troy actually led me to Christ.
That's
So,
beautiful.
um, when I every single day, and this is how I keep it at the forefront.
Mhm.
Every single day, I wake up in the morning and I spend time with the Lord every single day. So, as a result of prioritizing that relationship, first thing, it leads my day.
Uh-huh.
And that helps me to keep it in focus. And so, regardless of what's happening in my life, life is lifing, but Jesus is Jesusing.
I like
And
that.
and so, even if I get through the day and the day was crazy, when I pop back up in the morning, I'm with Him and I
Mhm.
can deal with all of that. And then I'm, into the next day. So that has really been the thing I would say has been the core tenet of why my faith has remained strong because I spend time with the Lord every single day.
And in spend I mean, that's so big because in spending time with him, like, you're hearing his voice, you're connecting with him before the busyness, of life really creeps in. How did you decide, like, this is how I'm gonna spend? Like, because I know it looks different. So is it, like, reading your Bible? Is it worship? How do people, I guess, try to identify, like, what works best for them, with spending time with the Lord first?
I think that it's important that people have to identify what that thing is. I do believe that it is important to know the word.
Mhm.
So you cannot know him and know yourself without really understanding the word of God. So you can have a lot of other things that you're doing. However, the word has to be a part of it.
Right.
And then there's many ways like it's like when you get to know your relationship with him. So this is how my relationship with the Lord started out. When Troy came to me and he said, "Hey, I would like to be with you for the rest of your life, for the rest of our lives."
Mhm.
He said, "But you got to promise me one thing." I said, "Okay, what is it?" He said, "We have to grow together in Jesus Christ." I said, "Bet." I didn't I don't even know what the man talking about. But I just said, "Okay, whatever. I don't know what
This
that
what
is."
okay, I got it.
So he had a dog named Top Gun. And
Top Gun.
Top
I
Gun.
like that.
Every night, I would take Top Gun for a walk, and I would walk and I would talk to God. So
Mm.
this my relationship with the Lord did not start in a church at an altar. It happened with me outside walking and talking to God, and I was talking to God just like I'm talking to you. I'd be like, "What's up, God? How was your day?" I know it was crazy. All these people, you gotta take care of all these people, and I was just talking.
Uh-huh.
So it was very. I developed a relationship that was me.
So you and so organic.
It was me. So even when I got into church, the church could never take away from me what I had with God because that was already established.
Mhm.
And so even now, when I am in my prayer room, I also find the walks.
Mhm.
I love taking walks and not playing any music,
Okay.
not being on my phone, just so I could walk and allow for like a conversation with God just to happen very organically. I still start out with "What's up, God?" and I just start talking. I also find my kitchen as my sanctuary. When I'm cooking, it like activates something. When I'm working out, it's for me, it's movement. Like
Okay.
when my body is moving, it starts churning these moments and opportunities for me to spend time with the Lord.
Mhm.
And I love gospel music and worship music. And so I use all the things. But what the bottom line is this for everyone listening in. I don't care what you're doing, but you got to have that word. If you don't have that word, I don't know what you got. Because lyrics in a song can be tripping you up and giving you misinformation about the power of the Lord and everything that he brings into your life. Listening to sermons on YouTube and snippets on Instagram and the social media platforms, you don't know the full context and if it's even true if you don't know the word of God.
Yep. That's big. You got to know God and you got to know him for yourself. You can't be relying on praise is what I do and raise your hand.
Yes.
And
we praise him. But what we praising? What we praising?
Because we got to have context. We got to have clarity. And I think when you get those snippets online, like you don't know what was said before or after that. So now you're just processing a portion of what has been communicated. And then you're building your life upon that. Like you got to build your life upon him. But in doing that, you got to spend time with him. You got to know him. You got to get in the word. You got to understand. If you don't understand, you got to seek clarity. But the thing I also like about what you're sharing about your organic relationship with him is you just went as you. And sometimes people feel like they got to fix themselves up. They got to do this. They got to, oh, Heavenly Father, which is fine if that's how you, if that's how you go before the throne, then, and that's you, then do that. But I think there's been this misconception of I need to do all of these things to go before him. And I can't just go as me. I'm like, he already know that ain't you. So just go to him vulnerable. God, Jesus, Lord, Father.
What we doing? What we doing?
What are we doing? Because yes, he's holy and yes, he's good and yes, he's set apart. But when you're not able to be you with him, how many other people are you not being yourself?
Oh, man. And just think about that. He created you. And when he created you, he said, very good. Right? So he knows everything about you.
Yep.
And yet we conform to, we don't even know what we be conforming into to get before him.
Yep.
That is an act of, God, you didn't do a good job on creating me. So let me fix myself up.
Yep.
And come to you this way so that way I'm acceptable to you. When you are acceptable to him from jump, he knew you before you were even in your mother's womb. He created you to be exactly who he created you to be. So why would you work and become exhausted trying to be someone other than who he created you to be?
I don't know why we do that. Why are we doing
I'm
that?
exhausted thinking about it. Just
You can write another book on that. Show up as you. Don't exhaust yourself. Because God is just so good. And he says, come as you are. And if that's with your bonnet on, with a cigarette hanging out your mouth and whatever, it's like, go before him.
Because he'll change you.
Because he'll change you. It ain't for you to fix yourself up, then go.
And it ain't for other people to fix you up or tell you that you're not worthy enough to come before him. Like that is, your relationship with the Lord is extremely personal. And as believers, we have a responsibility to love people and meet them where they are. And trust that God, in his infinite power and wisdom, will do his thing. It's not our job to correct people and fix people. I mean, of course, we hold people accountable and we give them the tools, but not to the point where we're like, nah, you ain't it. You ain't the one. You're not good enough for him. That's not what our responsibility is, to love. Period. And then watch God do what God does. He's the master builder. He has the ability to take the clay and mold it and shape it how he sees fit, not how we see fit.
Right. Like that little salt bay. He like, I do this. This is what I do. Let me do what I do. And you do what you do. That should be. Watch me do And I mean, I know it's so many times that people try to do the work inside of us before we go to him. So we letting them do the work, or we're trying to. We're not. So being organic and true to who you are is so big. And I see you do that in so many different places where you show up as Tommy. What you get is Tommy, regardless of what room you're in, what platform, what stage you're on, you're just being you. How did you get so confident in you? Because it's going back to what we talked about earlier, like knowing you, understanding you, sitting with you. How did you get so confident in you that you are willing to show up as you and you're not willing to compromise who you are, regardless of the role, the responsibility, the stage, or the platform? Because I know, like, even in our space
Mhm.
and the football space, with, Troy playing for as long as he played, with him being who he is today, you've never lost you or compromise who you are to fit into crowds, what people say we should look like, talk like, all the different things. And that's something that's so unique because I mean, I was drawn to you instantly. And it's like she's not putting on. Like she's not trying to be this or oh, do you know who I am? Like that's not just you. But over the course of the years that I've navigated in this space, like I've seen it so much. So what is it that takes place inside of you where you're just like, I'm not becoming who the world say I should become. I'm not, whether it's dressing, speaking, hope, like, because there's this whole misconception, obviously, of I don't know what they show on TV that, we got somebody doing our faces every morning and helping us in our boots and spoon feeding us. And that's, I mean, that could be somebody's life. But you're not trying to make that your life. You haven't tried to make that your life. What is that? Like, what can you say to the women who are in these very successful places, laboring alongside these very successful men, and the world that they're in is telling them that they should become or show up a certain way? How do you teach them or coach them or give them a quick line on this is how you keep showing up as you and not allow this situation that you're in to change you. And how have you done that so beautifully?
Well, one, thank you. I would say that you are worthy, period.
Mhm.
And, um, I've fought hard to be
Mm.
me. So, ain't nobody or nothing gonna deny me from being me. Not as hard as I have fought. So, it's yes, I'm confident in being me,
Mhm.
but I'm also determined to be me. And if I feel like what you're telling me is that me is not enough or that I'm not worthy because I'm me, then you just don't know who I am.
Mhm.
And it's a missed opportunity for you. So I don't fight to be in a space that doesn't welcome me because that space not for me.
Mhm.
When you go into a space as yourself, the people that are called to you, they welcome you and they embrace you. And if they're asking anything else of you that's different from you being you, you should run and run as fast as you can.
She's a runner. She's a track
Run,
run
okay?
in hokas, heels.
I don't care
What?
get up out of there. Get up
Up out
out
of
of there
there.
because you're setting yourself up
Mhm.
to suffocate while breathing.
Ooh,
Get up out of there.
I ain't never heard. You setting yourself up to suffocate while you're breathing.
Mhm.
That's a whole another. Listen, yeah. Who got we book 2?
This is the third one according to you in this conversation. Now that's the third one.
Third book coming soon. Third book coming soon. Okay, so books out. We got 2 more coming, maybe 4. So, okay, now that This book, okay, listen, I need another book. I'm just gonna start there. But now that this one is out, I ain't gonna rush it to giving me more. Now that this one is out, like, what's next? Like, what's the next chapter of life? Like, what you got coming? How can people tap into the table of life? Have a seat at the table. Y'all can't have my seat at the table, but maybe she can give y'all a seat at the table.
I started out my book launch with dinners, the Table of Life dinner series, and it has been a blessing beyond measure for me. And I believe it has been a blessing for everyone who's had an opportunity to come to the table. And what I'm finding in this process is that this space is necessary for people, especially women, to have an opportunity to sit down with other women, to break bread, and to be able to be themselves. A space where titles don't matter, your economic, social, you know what I'm trying to say, child, your money.
Your money, your fame, your fortune. We don't care about none of that.
It don't matter. Let's sit down and let's really be ourselves and let's have wonderful conversation. So I'm going to keep that going, and I'm going to continue to have those. And I also have the Table of Life retreats that I do that are quarterly. And so everything, I have a personal vision statement. My personal vision statement is that everyone that God assigns to me will know that they're worthy. So all of that, it leads to that. So every space that I create, the Table of Life dinner series, the Table of Life retreats, as well as Stay a While podcast, it's all about coming where we can gather.
Yes.
And that you will leave there understanding and believing that you're worthy. When you believe that you're worthy, it's a game changer because you show up in life differently. Your standard and your non-negotiables become etched in you so much so that you just move through life with a confidence and a reassurance that you doing what you're supposed to be doing and you going where you're supposed to be going. And so for me, that's what it's all about.
Book number 5.
And I'm gonna need you to be my manager so we can
listen,
figure
girl,
it all
I
out.
got you, or I'll just carry your briefcase and be like, presenting Tommy. Now, what you need me to do? I can hold your bag. I can stir the pot. However I can serve, I'm here for it. Okay, so dinner series. I'm hosting one tonight. I'm so excited about that.
Listen.
Having some women in the house, and I'm confident that they're gonna leave better than they came.
I believe
Belly's
so.
gonna be full for sure. I'm gonna lay out some tissues because we made sure. I had a little tissue. I had to shed a little tear or something. How can people sign up or reach out to you to host one of these dinner series, to have a seat at the table for one of the retreats? Because I really, really believe that once people hear this, once people read the book, they're going to be eager to get more with you. Like, I think about my first conversation with you. I can vividly see you sitting diagonal to me. And it was very few words spoken, but there were a lot of things that penetrated my heart, my mind. And then my second conversation with you, I was on a massage table. I'm like, got the sheet on the table, dabbing my eyes. But there's something so rich and so powerful and so unique about you. There's a warmth and there's a wealth of knowledge and understand. And it's just you. It's just you, baby. God blessed you. It's just you. So how can people get a seat at the table? Who they need to call, text, look you up?
So there's one, I have a website, which is TommiV.com, and that's Tommy, TOMMIV.com. And then also on social media at Chef Tommy. And again, that's TOMMIV. And then, so you can contact me via those platforms.
Okay.
In reference to the Table of Life retreats, that is not a retreat where it's open to the masses. That is, and you and I talked about this, when you curate a table of guests, and because I know you, I trust you, I believe that the women that come to the table are people that I also can trust. And so those women have an opportunity now to have access to the women's retreats, as a result of being in your space
Yeah.
that you've curated.
Yep.
So the best way for people to contact me are via my website or via social media, and then we grow from there.
We grow. We don't stay the same.
We grow.
We grow. We grow. Okay, so this is a little fun time. We're gonna have some tea confessions.
Oh,
You
Lord.
got some tea to spill to us. Okay, so got some tea time confessions, and this is where you spill a little tea. It could be a truth that you're learning, a piece of wisdom, or something new that you're excited about, or even a guilty pleasure. So whatever is on your heart, I need you to spill a little tea. Give us a little. You need a sip of tea before you spill some tea.
Yeah, let me get some tea. What you talking about?
You know, people be like, "What's the tea?" I'm like, Jesus. It's the tea.
So, I'm I'm an open book. So I really don't know that there's anything I could share that would be like earth-shattering.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give a guilty pleasure.
Ooh.
So something I do every night. I don't know if it's exciting to me. I don't care if it's exciting to y'all, but listen. So every night after I shower up, I get a bowl of cereal. I come sit in my bed and I watch the Golden Girls. That is my thing.
I love that.
That is my thing. I love the Golden Girls. That is my favorite TV show.
Okay. So you've probably seen
I've
all
seen
the
every episode over and over and over and over and over again. And I just enjoy it because it's like a mindless activity
Mm-hmm.
where I get to laugh. I love to laugh. And I get to just like stop thinking about life
Mm-hmm.
and just tune into some good humor. And then it's time for me to go to bed.
You to go to bed. What kind of cereal? What's your favorite brand?
So I have a couple, and listen, they're not exciting either, but they're exciting to me. So I like one. So if it's a really special night, I make myself a bowl of farina, which I talk about in the
Farina.
book. Is the first thing I ever made at 3 years old. I still make farina, and I buy it by the case. So
Really?
farina.
Come on,
That's a
I
little
ain't never
tea.
had
That's a
farina,
little tea.
but
The girl got a problem. She buy farina by the case. Or I do frosted shredded wheat.
really?
I do Life cereal. So part of this issue is because growing up, we had boring cereal.
Uh-huh.
So, you just,
That's your
you love what you love. So I ain't have like Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles,
Mhm.
Apple Jacks, all that stuff. We had to have like Raisin Bran, Cheerios, but they became things that I love. So those are the
Love
types of
that.
cereals I have in my bowl of cereal in the bed when I'm chilling and winding down for the
I
night.
love that. I love that. Have you ever had King Vitamin cereal?
Yes.
Those used to be now.
Not being excited about King Vitamin, but yes, girl, I had King Vitamin.
When I was little, I did cereal at night, and it was King Vitamin. My grandma had them King Vitamin.
I know she
girl.
did.
I love it. And that box milk. What kind of milk you use?
So now I use just regular whole milk because I do
Okay.
whole milk.
Okay.
Even with the gas it gives me, I love it. And then,
Bonk, bonk.
yeah,
That's all right. That's
we
okay.
giving tea. We giving tea.
We giving tea.
But when we were growing up, it was a variety of milks because it just depended on what we had.
What we have.
So it could have been the canned milk, and it was pet. We did pet canned
Ooh,
milk
and did y'all mix it with water?
with water,
Yep. Been there, done that.
powdered milk. Because we got that with, when we got our little groceries in our box.
And you didn't have a shaker bottle. You had you know how they had them shaker bottles now. They didn't have them back when I was mixing my powder milk.
Yes. No, you just made it. You just made the milk. I don't know. You just made the milk. So it was either them, and then if we had milk, it would be regular milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So shredded wheat, farina,
Mm-hmm.
King Vitamin. If y'all know where I can get a box of King Vitamin, let me know.
I bet you if you check on one of them, like Amazon or something, you can find yourself some King Vitamin.
Probably because that was like the Captain Crunch,
Yeah.
kinda, sorta,
Well, kinda,
kinda, sorta, not
no,
really.
because it didn't tear up the roof of your mouth. It did. King Vitamin sogged quickly.
They did.
Yeah,
They did,
yeah.
yeah. The Captain Crunch, you got little slits and can't no Band-Aid stick up there, but that's neither here nor there. All right, y'all. So, thank y'all for joining us, but more importantly, thank you for joining me to share so much about your life, so much wisdom and grace, and the importance of staying true to ourselves, staying true to the one who created us, understanding that Jesus in therapy is really a thing, but then also sharing just so much that you packed inside of this amazing book, The Table of Life. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about all that is to come because I feel like this is just the beginning of so many other things, and we're gonna write like 4 more books after this. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for a seat at your table because it has been life-changing, and I am so confident that this episode, this book, the Table of Life series is gonna be life-changing for so many other individuals.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well, now that we have all of that, we will see y'all next time for another episode of Tea with Tamela.
Tea with Tamela. Let's laugh and spread love. Tea with Tamela. You're more than enough. Tea with Tamela. Don't ever give up. Tea with Tamela. Come and fill your cup. Tea with Tamela.